This episode of the Acts of Geekery Podcast is brought to you by the Overlook Hotel. Bring your family and visit the world-famous hedge maze, and then settle in for a night of dancing and ice cream. We are currently accepting applications for a winter caretaker. Contact Johnny at extension 237 for more information. The Overlook, shining bright since 1977. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Acts of Geekery Podcast, episode 22.
Yep, we were old enough to drink last time.
Yeah, we're still drinking today.
Yeah, apparently. I can't even finish my sentences.
Nope, you're just slurring your words.
Yeah.
This is going to go great.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
we're the Brothers Geek.
I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we're here to bring you all the geeky things in the world of geekdom. But before we get into any news or anything, we've got an exciting
special announcement. Yes.
Yeah. Brother Scott. I love how we're going to make like a church. Brother Scott.
Brother Scott. Yes. Yes, oh holy Cory.
Ooh, I'm the holy one. I like that. I think
You're full of holes.
I have at least
What?
too many to count.
Yeah. Like 1, 2. Never mind.
Forget it. No, we are on iTunes now, thanks to Scott. You can go and subscribe on iTunes, get it downloaded right to your device whenever you log in.
Pretty much the same day that we recorded,
Yeah.
it'll be up on iTunes and ready to download. Just go to the iTunes store, either through the app. You can actually go through the podcast app if you have iOS. You can.
Do they have an Android one?
There are some Android podcast apps that will search the iTunes store. But if you can find an app that has an RSS feed and you go to our Podcast Garden website, we have an RSS feed up there that you can put into the app, and it'll automatically update every time there's a new episode, and you'll be able to download it right away.
Okay.
So check us out on iTunes. It's just Acts of Geekery, and listen to all of our old
listen to
ones.
all the old ones, or if you already have, we've just given you a new way to easily share with your friends.
Yeah, and we're also caught up on YouTube as well. So
absolutely.
We're doing good. Yeah. We're doing good.
We're actually doing stuff.
Yeah. Doing stuff and things. Geeky stuff and things.
Geeking
things.
I'm not going to swear. We have to keep those clean tags. After all.
Yeah. Don't want to go explicit. You know, those 13-year-olds might not be able to listen to us.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into the news.
Kif, I'm headed to the men's room and I'll be needing an attendant, so... Oh, I'm sorry. You're crying like a woman. It's all right. I've always thought of myself as a father figure to some of my more pathetic men.
Well, I'm in love with this girl.
That's rich. Go on.
Oh, that Zap Brannigan of mine.
It's the news, folks, and we've got a lot of news today.
Some awesome news, actually.
After the Force Unleashed trailer came out, finally everybody else let all of their stuff go too. The first thing that I want to bring up, we found this out shortly after recording last Sunday, I think. Suicide Squad casting news.
For the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
not an animated, a live action movie that they're planning from DC or Warner Brothers Studios.
Yeah. If you haven't been following the Acts of Geekery podcast so far, welcome. And we've been talking about the Suicide Squad, but it is a show or a comic that is basically Ocean's 13, if you think about it, or something like that.
They're not really stealing things, though. They're doing
true.
top secret missions for the government.
They're criminals. They're like criminals who have life sentences on their head or death sentences, I even think, right?
Yeah.
And they're superhuman criminals too, so that, complicates things. Well, they get recruited into Argus, right?
Yes, it's Argus. Yep.
Yeah, by Amanda Waller mostly, and whoever else runs it. And they basically do jobs to reduce their sentence, and they have these
on the air quote promise and air quote that they will be released, or be able to take time off their sentence.
Yeah.
Off their 14 life sentences,
But the reason they call them the Suicide Squad is because they are always sent in for missions that are impossible or
nearly,
people are going to die on those.
And, they do it anyways because they're like, well, I'm going to be in jail forever. I might as well be able to get out in the world. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And they kind of give him sort of free reign as far as long as they stay to the mission timetable.
Yeah,
so they can go, like, if the mission's, like, in France or something, they can go, like, hang out in Paris for a while until the time comes that they need to do stuff.
Just as long as they're there when they're needed.
Yeah.
Well, we finally found out who is going to be who, and I was kind of surprised by the lead. Deadshot is the main Suicide Squad character. He's basically a very good shot in the DC Comics. Like, he never misses.
He's a dead shot.
He's a dead shot, yeah. Every shot of his means somebody's dead? Is that kind of what his name is?
No, Deadshot is it's just a like a turn of phrase
Okay.
or whatever.
All right. Well, Will Smith is going to be playing him, which
was, you're right. It was surprising because he's normally depicted as a white dude in the comics. And
that's not really what surprised me. I was just kind of like, wow, Will Smith's actually in a superhero movie.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. Although he did play the Hancock.
Yeah.
He was basically Superman.
Yeah,
but a bad
that was
Superman.
the movie I Am Legend, right?
No.
Oh, never
No,
mind.
it's the one where he's got superpowers.
No, I'm just kidding.
I actually like that.
Yeah,
movie.
no, I do
actually
too.
like it. But yeah, he plays Deadshot, and there's already been some Photoshop pictures of him and the rest of the cast, in fact, as their characters, and he looks fine.
Looks fine.
Just like Deadshot.
I'm excited.
I mean, Deadshot normally wears a full face mask anyways, so it doesn't really matter who they get.
Yeah.
Except for
I'm sure they'll show his face off.
Hopefully,
it's Will Smith. They'll show his face.
Hopefully, they don't pull a Sylvester Stallone
And Judge Dredd.
in Judge Dredd, where he wears his helmet for like 2 seconds, and then the rest of the movie it's off.
That bug. Nah.
That was a terrible movie.
Nope.
Terrible.
Terrible.
It's not as good as the new Judge Dredd, where
Nope.
he never took it off, which was freaking tastic.
But which one did better? Probably the Sylvester Stallone one.
I don't
sadly.
care.
Yeah.
I like the second one so
I
much
don't-
better.
So do I.
So we got Harley Quinn as another member. She's being played by Margot Robbie.
Which we talked about on the podcast. We're glad that was confirmed, so we don't have to retract anything. I've never printed a retraction in my life. Jared Leto is going to be the Joker.
Leto.
Which
He's also
explain to me who he is again.
He's a movie star, obviously. So, but that doesn't mean much because I think he was in Dallas Buyers Club.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a TV show or a movie.
Okay.
I guess they're people they're a club in Dallas and they buy things.
Oh.
Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But most people will probably know him. He's the lead singer of the band 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh.
We have a lot of popular songs on the radio.
He's the guy who goes to the moon and back.
No, that's Savage Garden.
Holy crap. What is 30 Seconds to Mars then?
I'll show it to you later. Oh my gosh.
I'm just not doing good today.
No,
aren't I?
no, you're not.
No. Okay.
Another character on the team, Rick Flag, is going
Who's
to be
Rick Flag playing?
Who's he playing?
Yeah.
No, he's being played by.
Oh,
That's why I said.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are you not listening to me on this podcast?
Well, I just like making jokes. So,
okay.
Yeah.
He's being played by Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Bane.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Which everybody throws Tom Hardy's name around these days. It's finally nice that somebody actually took it to heart.
Yeah.
Jai Courtney is a guy, and he is playing Captain Boomerang, aka Digger Harkness.
That's his real name.
Yep. If they do Captain Boomerang like the crossover,
late descendant or early descendant of Jack Harkness, depending on what timeline you're looking at.
I don't think that's true, but we'll go with it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, it is now. It is
Captain
now
Boomerang,
canon.
which we actually saw on Arrow.
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
The Arrow and Flash crossover.
We'll talk about that later. We're actually going to review that.
But sounds like a dumb villain. They usually make him kind of goofy in all the animated.
But he's actually pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, if they do him like they did him on the crossover, then that's good.
And then the last one on this team, at least for this movie.
Do you want to try and say that name?
Okay. Well, first of all, the character she's playing is Enchantress.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that. That's
Which
pretty easy.
is a magic user, which is interesting.
Yeah.
In for a universe that doesn't have any established magic in it at all, to suddenly bring somebody in and say like, oh yeah, she can do magic.
Yeah, which is you're right. It's strange. They don't. They do magic in the cartoons, no problem.
Oh yeah.
But they have never dabbled in it
on screen.
Yeah, on live action.
That's going to be really interesting.
Enchantress is being played by Kara Or Cara.
Cara, C-A-R-A.
And then Delivingini. Delivingini.
Delvingini.
Delvingini.
No, that is not close at all. Delevingene.
And Cory, what else has she been in?
Nothing. She is completely unknown.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Actually, she was in a video game recently, but I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, whatever.
So there's your cast. These are all the heroes. And they were talking about the villain, and I went, no, the villain's right there in the middle. It's the Joker. There's no way that the Joker is not going to be the villain at the
least
end.
in the comics, Joker has never been on the Suicide Squad. Ever. First of all, no one can control him at all.
Exactly.
And second of all, he's always been doing stuff that the Suicide Squad has to go in and contain and take care of.
Yeah. So what I think, and I talked to you about this last week, but I don't know if you remember, I think we're going to get like a third act twist where it turns out the Joker's either behind it all or he's the traitor and everything like that.
Yeah, which is kind of played out, but, okay.
Well,
whatever.
It doesn't have to be a well-crafted movie, just well...
it should be a well-crafted movie.
I meant like the script doesn't have to be...
It doesn't have to be a good movie.
Completely untroped. The script doesn't have to be completely without tropes to be good, is what I was trying to say.
Completely tropeless.
Tropeless.
That's like topless, but without tropes.
Yeah.
Tropeless.
Yeah, I go tropeless all the time.
We're completely tropeless.
Moving on to some other great news that I'm super excited
More
for.
casting news?
Yes.
If you are a frequenter of our YouTube channel, Cory has a couple Acts of Geekery.
They're not on the Acts of
Geekery. They're not?
Nope. We need to get them
We
up
need
on
to
there.
move them up there.
They're on my personal page. I talk about the top 5 movies that need to be made, and it's actually It's actually what started all of this, if I remember correctly. Well, actually, I had one before that, but that was just kind of like a quick thing. But I said my number one movie that needs to be made, which I believe they've gotten 3 out of the 5 so far have been announced, so I predicted it.
You have a Lantern Korra one up there, but they won't do that one for a while.
I won't do the Lantern course.
Number
Deadpool.
1, Deadpool.
And they came out and announced
Fox is actually going to do it?
Yeah, making it PG-13, which is...
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And they were talking about actors and everything because Ryan Reynolds said, they haven't signed me on for the role yet. Well, apparently he's now signed on for the role of Deadpool. Come on. That was going to happen.
The internet freaked out. And basically, hopefully Fox is smart enough to listen to their fans. And when everyone, like 99.99% says Ryan Reynolds needs to take another crack at Deadpool and not let Fox screw it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, like they did in Wolverine Origins.
So bad.
Yeah.
Terrible. So he is Deadpool.
Yeah.
And they are going to start filming in March.
Ooh, nice.
So that means...
It'll be out in 2017?
I think it's actually 2016.
Think so?
Yeah. But that means we're going to start seeing clips and stuff and casting news coming from that.
Some leaking stuff.
Some leaks.
There'll be lots of leaky stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because Deadpool, after all, he leaks a lot.
Yep. And then we also have another casting news. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We finally have a new Doctor.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Peter Capaldi's not doing it anymore.
No, wrong Doctor.
Oh.
Wrong Doctor.
Are you sure? Because it's a British guy.
I'm absolutely sure. So all British guys are the Doctor?
That's all.
Wow, that's totally racist, Cory.
I'm sorry. They should have an American Doctor just to keep it like unracist.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. We are talking about Doctor Strange. After like weeks and months of this guy's playing Doctor Strange, this one's in talks, this one's in talks. Benedict Cumberbatch is finally Doctor Strange.
Do you not know how to spell his name? Because you have on here Benedict Cumberbatch.
I just didn't. I didn't even want to deal with it.
All right.
That's such a complicated name that I just like. All the letters are there.
You just have to rearrange them.
Yeah, I think I may have an extra IT in Benedict.
You do. Anyways,
Benedict.
he was probably my top pick out of all the ones that they had mentioned to play before, because I think he not only does he have the look, but he has the acting chops to pull it off.
Yeah.
Not all the other ones they were listing, I was like, meh.
The only one they could have gotten better is somebody who's already played a wizard, but Ian McKellen probably would say no.
and he's way too old.
I don't know. I'd be okay with an old. I'd be okay with
Are
an
we
old
gonna
Doctor Strange.
are we gonna have to go back to the argument?
Oh, so you're saying that there are some actors who are too old for parts?
Yeah, sure, but I'm not for Green Lantern. Not Malcolm Reynolds. He's fine.
Nathan Fillion's too old for Malcolm Reynolds. Not Malcolm Reynolds. Actually, he's too old for that
too
too.
old for that too.
Yeah,
now.
I'm sorry.
We love him. We love him to death,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's getting a little old. Little old in the tooth.
We say that a lot. We love you, but criticism.
I mean, I just listened to how you talk with your wife. I love you, but
Well, why are you eavesdropping on my private conversations with my wife?
oh, you're right next door. It's really easy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
More casting news.
Yes.
Even more.
Wow,
Even more.
a lot of casting news today.
But this one is for Netflix series.
Yay, which I'm super excited for. I think Daredevil's coming next year.
Yeah, like January, February, I think is when they're going to probably release it.
Yeah.
And it's Netflix, which means, guess what? We get the entire season all at once.
Which means we get the entire season in one night.
Yep. Or one day.
No, we're just gonna spend a night. I don't care if it takes from midnight to 2 a.m. We're watching all of Daredevil.
From midnight to 2 a.m, that's 2 hours. That's 2 episodes.
They're like 10-minute episodes. That's all.
No, that's 2 episodes. I don't care if it takes 2 whole hours. I'm going to watch the whole season.
I'm serious. If it takes 2 hours, I will watch it.
What if it takes 12 hours or 20 hours, depending on how many there are?
Well, then,
Knowing Netflix, it'll be between 10 and like 16.
Well, then we will watch them in 2-hour chunks from midnight to 2 a.m. every night.
Oh, gosh. All right. But not Daredevil is not the casting.
No.
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Well, Luke Cage is rumored. Jessica Jones has been confirmed as Kristen Ritter. We talked some about the people on here or that were up for the role. And Kristen Ritter she's the bee from Apartment 23 in that show. She's the girl with the black hair. She looks okay. I'm not really familiar with Jessica Jones enough to give kind of a good call.
I have no idea about her. I mean,
Yeah,
I
want to read the Alias comic.
But then there's a picture of Jessica Jones and she's flying. Does she have powers?
Yeah, she is a superhero, but she stops being a superhero for reasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the rumor, which they had this guy do scenes with like 3 of the different girls they were looking for Jessica Jones to try to see if there was a good dynamic between them.
Yeah, because
I'm sure they'll cross over at some point,
Yeah,
like in Defenders or something.
They're actually married. I think Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are married.
Oh, okay. Mike Coulter. Yeah, and he's been
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's been in Men in Black 3 as a colonel. He's been in Zero Dark 30.
He's the colonel, Scott. Mike Coulter is spoiler alert, Will Smith's dad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, okay. Now I see it.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yep.
He looks like Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the build for it and stuff too.
I'm sorry, there's not really much to qualify you to look like Luke Cage.
Black and bald.
Black and bald and kind of beefy.
Yeah. Kind of a beefcake.
Yeah.
Beefcake.
Now, if they would have made him a white guy, that would have been a huge uproar. It's like, we got Michael Cena or John Cena or what's the guy with the T-Rex arms, the wrestler? Crap.
What? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
So there's this really jacked wrestler. He's been on a bunch of TV stuff and everything. He's been in a couple episodes of Psych. I think it's like Michael Cena or something like that.
John Cena?
John Cena, maybe.
Okay.
Bring me up a picture of John Cena while I'm talking about this. But I've watched him in like advertisements for wrestling, and he always like does this raise his arms in the air thing, kind of like throwing gang signs and whatnot. And he has, compared to his body, he has tiny arms. So I always say that he has T-Rex arms.
Does he look like how's the best way to say this? Jacked Roy Harper.
Yes. Yes, that is Jack
Yep,
Roy Harper.
Jack Roy Harper
Yeah, he
from
has,
Arrow.
and he's a big guy, but he throws his arms up in the
That's
air,
true.
and they barely clear his head. Like his arms, it's either that his muscles are so big that he can't raise them as high as he wants to, but he looks like he's stretching them all the way in the air, and they're small compared to his body. So I say he has T-Rex arms.
T-Rex. The wrestler with T-Rex arms. And I'm like,
is it John Cena?
huh? Yes, John Cena.
John Cena.
Yep, T-Rex armed wrestler. So that's a lot of casting
That is
news.
huge. I mean, it's
Do
like
we have any more? I don't even know.
maybe down
We got
later.
so much.
Yeah, we have a lot of news today. I don't even think we'll get to a topic, which is fine. We can have.
We got a bunch of new like directors and oh man.
But first, I want to ruin something for you, or I want to make you angry, rather.
Okay.
So the Oscars are coming, which is fine. There's,
Oh, I'm so angry.
yeah.
Like,
you don't really
no.
watch the Oscars. I like to sit down with my wife. It's sort of entertaining. It's funny watching celebrities get up there and prance around for other celebrities that don't laugh at them.
Okay.
Because it kind of makes them look like they're hacks. But there's some visual effects awards that have Captain America, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Guardians of the Galaxy been nominated for
Nice.
visual effects.
Nice.
Rightly
Rightly so, I think.
Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix got nominated for an Emmy
I saw that.
for like
which
I
is
think
awesome.
like best original soundtrack or best soundtrack or something like
Yep.
that. But what I'm going to tell you that's going to get you pissed off is Paramount is pushing to get Transformers: Age of Extinction nominated for Best Picture.
Oh man.
Why?
I'm not pissed. I'm just
Disappointed.
I'm
just-
not mad at him. I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Oh, why? Why? I don't understand. It wasn't even finished. We watched the
Yeah.
Screen Junkies. What's the one? Everything Wrong With?
Yeah, everything wrong
Movie
with
Sins?
which was 2 episodes of
40
like,
minutes
yeah.
of him talking about everything that's wrong with this movie. And yes, granted, there are stuff in some of his trailer or some of his videos this guy does that are like, really, you're nitpicking on that.
Yeah.
However, everything he said on this, I was like, holy crap.
You're right.
Michael Bay he phoned it in. He's not good when he's there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so phoning it in is like 10 times worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, they're looking at this bank of monitors on the wall.
yeah.
And half of them are still showing green
screens.
They're not even. He didn't even complete the freaking movie before
Yeah.
he released it.
yeah.
Wow.
And they won it
Paramount
for an
was-
Oscar.
That's because they dumped so much money into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it performed really well and got them a lot of money back, but they need more apparently.
Yeah. Well, Paramounts are greedy bastards.
I hope that they reset the Transformers universe, get a different director.
Yeah.
Totally different. Like
And
look
I
to
think
him.
I think Bay says he is done.
good.
Yeah. So
I
that's
hope
good.
that he gets run over by Optimus Prime.
You heard it here first, folks. I'll get Optimus Prime on it, I guess.
Call him up.
Yeah, I'll give him a call. We also have that Robert Orci, who was going to direct
Robert
the next...
Orci?
Orci? Is
Yeah,
that
he was a executive director or executive producer on Star Trek.
Okay.
On the show.
on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought he did some writing on the movie as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
He was in.
The
He was
latest
a producer. It's a producer in the first
Okay.
one, at least as far as I know. I don't know about Into Darkness. I didn't look it up.
All right. Well, when J.J. Abrams backed out because he's doing Star Wars now.
Yeah, which unfortunately that sucks
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I think Star Wars is better than Star Trek, but J.J. Abrams is wrong, so I guess it's fine if he wants to be wrong.
Well, they called Robert Orci in to take over as director.
Okay.
And he just backed out himself. I don't know why. Maybe scheduling conflicts or something.
Yeah, it's probably scheduling conflicts because I don't think it has. I think Paramount, at least with Star Trek, they're pretty cool with just
Yeah.
like letting the director do what they need
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
They don't get their hands in it. They don't really mess with it too much.
Yep, they know that the director knows best for that franchise.
Yeah.
The Paramount is looking at Edgar Wright now.
The first director of Ant-Man before he left.
The creator of the Cornetto trilogy, basically.
Yes.
Which is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End.
Yep.
The 3 flavored Cornetto
which are all
trilogy.
what's his name?
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg
Yep.
and Nick Frost.
Yep.
Really funny.
Yeah, which would have been great because Simon Pegg works really well with Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
That would have been a weird style for the next Star Trek movie, though. He's got like a very distinctive style.
Simon Pegg's already in it.
Yeah,
Scotty.
Not Simon Pegg though. Edgar Wright's got a distinctive style.
Yeah,
but there's fans who are getting a petition around to get Jonathan Frakes directing the next one.
Oh yeah, he's done quite a few episodes from like Next Gen.
I think he did
others.
A few movies too. I think he did Insurrection, for example.
Yeah, I think you're right actually.
Mm-hmm. So, but they want him. So there's some fluctuation going on with your Star Trek. While Star Wars is coming out strong, Star Trek's kind of floundering right now. So, yay for Jedis, boo for Trekkies, I guess.
No, don't boo for Trekkies. The fact that we're still here.
You're more of a Trekkie than you are a Star Wars fanatic, aren't you?
He's done an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I do remember that episode.
Yeah, he's done some Burn Notice Shield, Burn Notice episode.
Burn Notice Shield.
A couple episodes of Castle.
He's not a bad director. He does really well with what he does.
An episode of V, an episode of Dollhouse. He's done a lot of sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. He comes on and these these young like show creators are like, oh, "You're Jonathan Frakes, direct my show."
Yeah, he did do Insurrection, you're right.
Yep.
On that. But he also directed Star Trek First Contact.
Oh, that's
right.
I love that. I knew there was another one.
He's done episodes of Star Trek Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Next Gen.
I would argue that First Contact is probably the best Star Trek movie out there.
Wrath of Khan is really good.
I know. Okay. Let's limit it to the Next Generation.
The Next Gen.
Oh, then yeah. But honestly, I didn't like Wrath of Khan that much.
It's because it's old.
Yeah.
But as far as
but we're talking about me here, not you.
Yeah,
I can watch old things.
As far as the effects go, like the effects on the timeline and plot and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like really, really well done. And even though Ricardo Montalban's got a goofy name, and
is that your only reason for not liking?
He talks about boogs.
Wait,
and
that's not him.
I know. I know.
You're giving people false problems. Everybody's going to be like, yeah, I don't like how Ricardo Montalban talks about boobs. He doesn't talk about boobs.
And there's the controversy of, did he have a fake chest or did he not have a fake chest? Nobody knows. I liked it. I really did.
Jeez. I thought it was okay. But you know what? Haters are going to hate me.
To each their own.
Yep, exactly. I'm fantasy. I'm the fantasy guy.
I'm the sci-fi guy.
Yeah, exactly. We're two sides of the same coin. It just so happens that my side's a bit shinier, you know?
What? Wait, I don't... What do you mean by that?
I'm saying that fantasy's better than sci-fi.
No. No, not even.
Oh, really? Because fantasy is the father of sci-fi. Thank you very much. Father is always better than son.
However,
isn't that right?
However, most stories are written about stuff in the future first than the past.
True, but that doesn't mean that the past doesn't have any influence on it.
No, that doesn't mean. But I'm just saying they're futuristic, sci-fi. And if you're in year 1 and you write about year 20, guess what? That's sci-fi. Because you're going to come up with something and be like, guess what, guys? They've got wheels. We don't have them.
Oh, my God.
Someone's going to develop them.
Let's just agree that mine's better.
No. We'll agree to disagree. We'll have to argue about this later on another podcast when we're not taking up everyone's time.
Yeah. Well, we're not taking up anybody's time. How's work going? How's work going, guys? This is better than listening to the radio, the same 10 songs. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we could sing 10 songs. we could sing the 10 popular songs and it would ruin them for everyone.
Yep. They're not like they're already not ruined by
True.
Playing them 10 times a day.
But just hearing them from us would be
true.
Just be ruined.
Very true. All right.
More director news.
Yes. Ridley Scott, who originally said he wasn't going to direct the next Blade Runner movie, has come out and said he really likes the script and he wants to direct the next Blade Runner movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Blade Runner's, that's one of those movies that you should see because it's kind of like a cult classic.
Yeah, it's a classic and everything.
However,
like, it was in my movie course in college. Like that's That's why that's my bar for if I should see a movie. Was it in a movie course in college?
Well, however, sorry, I'm in the middle of the yawn there.
Yeah.
However, I'm boring myself on this podcast, so I can't even imagine what
you're feeling at home.
what everyone else is going through.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's one of those ones that you need to see as a cult classic, but it's hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The audio's weird, and that, you know what? That's my problem though with old movies, is the audio is always terrible. It drives me crazy.
Up the wall.
If you're gonna release a remastered version of an old movie, I don't care if the graphics are, if you don't touch the graphics at all. It doesn't matter to me.
The visual style is
adjust the audio. Bring the levels of the talking up so you can actually hear people.
Bring the levels of the music down.
Yes. Because, and I had this problem in Interstellar as well.
Oh, yeah, you did. You talked about how...
And I forgot to mention this, I think, is the score would overpower the talking. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks.
The score is beautiful, but it needs to be quiet a little bit.
I mean, it was Hans Zimmerman.
Hans Zimmerman.
Hans Zimmerman, yeah. It was his score, and he does fantastic orchestral pieces.
You know what Chris Nolan would say? You just need to learn to listen better.
No, you know what Chris Nolan actually said?
What?
We're going to readjust it and fix it in the release because
he came out and
he
said
admitted that they had audio problems.
Oh wow!
From the get-go.
Oh wow!
But the old movies, the reason why they have terrible audio is because all they had was boom mics.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They didn't have any mics they could strap to the person.
Yeah.
So when they're doing sound effects, and a lot of times it's practical sound effects, it's not after the fact. They're doing them in the background next to another microphone,
like
music
we are,
or something.
We have boom mics that we just have two people who are holding them constantly, which is a really hard job for 2 hours.
Yeah, which is why we have to try to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
really tired. And that's my problem with the Blade Runner. The director's cut's better. They adjusted it, but it's still kind of hard to get through.
There are I think 7 different cuts of that movie out there.
Yeah,
that's like the special edition.
But it's good.
The
story's good,
yeah.
And the themes in the movie are fantastic.
Yep.
So that's awesome that Ridley Scott wants to do the second one.
Yeah, I will watch it just because.
We'll have to sit down and watch the first one.
I don't think I can sit through it again.
Yeah, come on. You've already seen it?
Mm-hmm. I told you I saw it in my movie class.
Oh.
Yeah, we actually watched the movies in there. It was like a Saturday course that was from 10 in the morning until 12 or 1 in the afternoon.
Nice. Did you guys watch the director's edition?
I have no idea which one.
We need to find out.
Yeah.
You need to call up that teacher.
Actually, I think we did. We did theatrical. I think he just wanted to show the theatrical release.
Okay.
So we might have to watch the director's cut.
Yeah.
Let's see what else do we got here. Ooh. I didn't see this story before. Ooh. The Avengers promo art that's out for Age of Ultron.
Yes.
It should have been at the top of the show.
Because Age of Ultron news.
I didn't organize the news, guys, so that's why it wasn't.
Yeah,
on the top.
I did it.
Yeah.
I actually did work.
Yeah.
Forgive me for screwing up when I actually do work on the podcast.
I'm just happy you're participating.
I always participate. It just happens to be the actual
during the
recording and during the show, not beforehand.
Well, some of the latest promo art, and we'll have to post a link to this, has the Vision shown on it.
Like whose vision? Like the vision of the director?
Yes, and the Vision, the character from Marvel Comics as well.
Yeah.
Which is the character going to be played by Jarvis, Paul Bettany.
As the central character, not just like in the background. One of them, it's him in the center with all the Avengers and Ultron around
standing around him.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
I'm super excited, and it's great that we haven't seen anything about the Vision yet, because that's going to be a huge, I hope they don't show him until the movie comes out. I'm okay knowing that he's going to be in it, but I just want to sit there and go, when's he going to show up?
Yeah.
When's he going to be here? I have no idea what he's going to look like, why he's there, what he's for, because he's been a villain in the Marvel Comics too. Mm-hmm. His first storyline, he was created by Ultron to take down the Avengers, and then he became good after that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's an awesome character too. He's kind of like, he has the same density control powers that Martian Manhunter has, where he can like phase through walls, or he can become super dense and make himself strong or nearly invulnerable.
He's basically Martian Manhunter.
Kinda. He can't shape change though.
He can now, actually.
Can he now?
Yeah, he's made of nanites now. So he can shape change.
I know he fell in love with and dated married Scarlet Witch for a while, which was cool.
Which was cool. Scarlet Witch was cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I think they're broken up now because she's dating Wonder Man or something like that.
Yeah, purple dude, purple power man,
purple power people eater. You're going to be excited about this news. I know you've never read this graphic novel.
It's on my list.
Yeah, I hear it's a great set.
I hear it's.
You do not read it if you are religious at all.
Yeah, because it's very blasphemous. Mm-hmm. If you're a religious person, it's extremely blasphemous. But if you're not religious or you don't care about that, then this is right up your alley.
Yep. This is the show or the comic Preacher that has been given a pilot order by AMC.
Yes, and we know that AMC can do a good job.
Yeah, they did The Walking Dead really well.
Yep.
Seth Rogen is actually one of the showrunners for it.
Yeah,
and it is the comic was written by Garth Ennis, who did Irredeemable.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
He did The Boys.
He did The Boys.
He did The Boys, and he did The Pro and a couple others, which are super graphic. You know, like I said, they're not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, so you know what you're getting into. And I'm going to say this here. You seriously do not read this comic unless you are okay being offended, because there are things in there that you will not be able to unsee that will kind of bug you if you're really offended.
Yeah, and we say this not meaning that it's...
Not to turn you off on it.
It's not just like boobs everywhere or something like that. No, it's like blood and gore and demons and you know, people getting torn in half, like all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Things
that you really can't talk about. That I can't talk about on the podcast.
No, otherwise we would lose our not explicit.
Yeah, exactly. There's a guy who has a butt for a face in it, and I'm not like, that's not just like a joke or anything. Like that's literally part of his character.
Instead of like the sound that he makes with his tongue, it's an actual fart.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now I gotta read. I gotta push it up my list of stuff to read.
You're gonna have to read it. There's some stuff in there that you will.
So every time I've ever seen Preacher, I see that the Preacher, the guy that I don't know what's. I read the plot synopsis a while ago, but I can't remember it now.
Yeah, I think he used to be a servant of God, and now he's gone off and.
Yeah, I know what it is. He was a preacher or a priest.
Yeah,
depending on whatever religion you're in, and he gets powers.
Well, the comic's called Preacher, so I assume he was a preacher.
He gets demonic powers.
Oh, okay, all right.
And not because he's evil, but just because something chooses him and decides, hey, you now have, you know, crazy demon powers. Yeah, and he can do all. He can basically control people and you know, make them do stuff and all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But every time I see him, I see his face and I go, "That's Carl Urban."
Oh yeah?
Yep. I see his face and I go, "That's Carl Urban." If you click the link that I've got there for us, you will see exactly what I mean. Carl Urban needs to play his character.
Going back to your dread.
Since he's not doing anything anyways.
That's Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Yep, that is definitely Carl Urban.
Right. And it looks fantastic.
Would you get this comic so we can read it?
Okay. I mean, right. There's a lot of them, apparently. I think there's like 10 volumes or something like that.
The only concern that I have with it is that AMC doesn't, or like holds their punches, pulls their punches.
I don't know.
Thank you. That's what
they're pretty gory on Walking Dead, and they do some pretty crazy stuff. That there's, I mean, they don't ever show it, but they've talked about like rape and like child molestation, and they have some creepers on there that they end up getting killed by the good guys, but Preacher, you don't know who the good guys are because
Preacher will get Bible groups up in arms over the content.
Doesn't?
No, I mean, like, seriously, they will be picketing for this show.
What doesn't? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I mean, look, we've got like the Westboro Baptist Church, and I know they're not representatives of all Bible groups, but come on, they pretty much picket over everything. That Dr. Pepper you're drinking is of the devil. In fact, I saw a video the other day.
It's very tasty devil juice.
I saw a video the other day where there was a lady talking about Monster Energy and how she points out all these things on the can about how it's 666 and it's the sign of the beast. And I'm just like, maybe you need to drink one because you're a little too amped up. Maybe it'll like take you down a notch.
Remind me to show you Third Eagle of the Apocalypse.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber and he's got some crazy videos out there.
Yeah. And like, yeah. So I hope it does good. I hope the pilot comes out. Maybe that we be another one we add to our list to watch every week.
Oh, our list. Which we're getting down to the mid-season finales.
Yeah.
So
we'll have an episode. We'll have an episode where we talk about all of the mid-season finales of the shows we've been watching, and
or just the shows in general up to this point, and what we liked, what we didn't. I have ideas in mind. So
yeah.
So I'm not really excited for this next news that we have here. The Dark Knight Returns comic graphic novel from Frank Miller.
Fantastic graphic novel. Fantastic adaptation to a animated.
Yep.
They're two-parter.
Yeah.
And
apparently they want to make another graphic novel, like a sequel to it.
But they're in talks with Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And Zack Snyder, which, yeah, you may know him as a director.
Yeah.
However, he's also done writing and stuff for comic books before. Now, because Frank Miller's on the panel, or maybe he'll be the one that actually does it, I'll be okay with that.
I don't know. That's a classic book. Like that is guaranteed geek reading material. However, if you want to get good, like
I'm going to blow anything you have to say out of the water right here.
Okay.
You don't own it. Frank Miller owns the rights to it.
Miller owns the rights to it?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Well, no, I thought DC would own the rights.
Sure, but I'm saying so. Like Alan Moore. Alan Moore complains about his books being, being used as film adaptations. But however, if Frank Miller came out and decided he wanted to do a Watchmen 2, or not Frank Miller, Alan Moore, if he decided to come out and say, I want to do Watchmen 2, people would be up in arms about it. But guess what? It's his baby.
Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
So Frank Miller, kind of the same thing.
All right.
And
fair enough.
And he knows the Dark Knight Returns world inside and out.
True.
Way better than you would ever know it, and
True.
a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you don't even have a clue about. And I'm not talking you as you, Cory. I'm talking you as a comic book geek.
Okay.
You may be able to try to read into stuff, but guess what? No,
I'm not the creator.
Here's another example: World of Warcraft. They keep coming out with expansion after expansion after expansion, where all this stuff is happening, and everyone's like, "No, you're ruining a perfectly good world." Well, guess what? It's their world.
Yeah, they get to do what they want with it.
They can do whatever they want. They're not taking someone else's design or someone else's creation and changing it. That's their creation. So they have every right. And you know what? You may not like that they added Pandarians into the latest World of Warcraft expansion, even though they were in Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Or you may not like that they're going back in time and changing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I know it's confusing for you.
I had to sit there and I'm like, what? Wait, what? Portal? Who's where? What?
I had to get my chalkboard out and draw a line, and then draw another line segment
branching off.
Okay,
classic.
You were
timeline.
right. Geek card to Scott for being right.
Oh, okay.
So
just an extra one. I didn't steal yours.
No.
I just got an extra one.
Yeah,
I have the
ability to handle
if Miller's down with it, I'm totally cool with it.
All right.
However, I don't feel that way about Alan Moore because I think he's crazy. I've heard the things he says and the way he talks.
He's got wizards living in his beard.
He's got wizards living in his beard. Yeah, he's nuts. So Frank Miller, as far as I know, which Sin City.
Yeah,
he did the Sin City sequel.
That was
not the movie. I'm talking the book sequel. So
yeah,
and some of the stuff that he's currently doing, it's just big ongoing stories. So which is cool.
All right, I will trust your judgment.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Flash.
Wait, what would the name of the Dark Knight Returns be?
The Dark Knight returns again,
and then leaves.
And then
the Dark Knight returns and then leaves, and then returns again.
And then returns again.
That's the second book.
Yeah. So Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2 great shows.
Getting better and better every episode.
Absolutely.
Along with Arrow and Gotham.
And Constantine. And Constantine. Scott. Jim Corrigan.
he can't decide whether he's Southern or not with his accent.
That doesn't make it a bad show.
No, it doesn't. But
actually, that could make it a bad show.
I did kind of squeal a little bit when they said Jim Corrigan. I was like, me and Cory sitting next to each other while we're watching this. We both like elbow each other constantly.
Hey,
look at that! Look at that! Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah. But Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have seen a rise in their ratings lately. Woo!
Success! We already know that. Which one was the one that beat? Oh, The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
So there's another geek show that's been beating football and stuff like that.
And Arrow actually got a bump in their ratings in the Flash Arrow crossover.
And the cool thing about Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one's on WB.
Yep.
CW, I guess is what it's called now. Mm-hmm. And the other one's on ABC.
Yeah.
Totally different channels, different time slots, which is cool. Yeah. So we got Flash first, which is, at least locally, it's here on at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, and Agents is on at 8. And so that's cool. You can switch between the two. So at least they're not fighting each other.
We watch Flash at 8 and then S.H.I.E.L.D. at 9.
The cool thing is Marvel understands at least that in the TV realm, they're not a powerhouse.
Yeah.
At least not yet. They may become one.
Well, they'll become a Netflix powerhouse, hopefully.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So they know that if the CW releases a show, they should probably keep their distance and not try to fight. Because I'll tell you what, if I had to choose, and I didn't have TiVo and things like that, if I had to choose between Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Flash.
Yep.
Hands down. I would wait for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to come out on
absolutely. Netflix. And we will talk about that during our mid-season finales too. Let's see. Star Wars Force Awakens trailer. We saw it. You all saw it, hopefully.
I get geek palpitations.
Casey watched it again with us.
I get geek palpitations every single time I watch it.
Isn't that the Emperor from Star Wars? Geek palpitations?
Not palpatines. Palpitations. Like for your heart. Like,
Oh, okay.
It puts me all aflutter.
My wife watched it again with us.
A notorious sci-fi
and Star Wars specifically hater.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when you get to that Millennium Falcon shot and the music swells up, she said, I got chills. I'm just saying. So
there you go.
I believe those chills were multiplying and she was losing control. That's a Grease reference for anybody out there who actually gets it.
That is not geek news. Stop talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. Kidding.
What? Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a weird podcast if I stop talking, Scott.
It would just be me talking.
Yeah.
And
we know what that's like.
I'm going to talk to myself a lot anyways, but...
Well, apparently the trailer topped 40 million views in under 72 hours.
More than Avengers Age of Ultron, apparently.
Yes, they beat them out in their first couple days, which is
good.
Great.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I love Marvel, but you know what? That's fine. If they want to do great, and if it help, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. My favorite meme is Doc Brown standing there, and he says the 3 most talked about trailers are Terminator, Jurassic World, and Star Wars. What year is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it does seem like we're just going kind of full circle here right now, which is fine. That happens every now and then. We get a year with a bunch of sequels or reboots and everything like that.
I'm okay with that as long as they're redone properly. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Star Wars isn't even it's not a reboot. It's just a sequel. Terminator Genesis is kind of like a half sequel, half reboot-ish kind of thing going on. And we'll talk about that a little later when we get to our trailers section. And then Jurassic World is definitely a sequel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a sequel. But maybe a reboot as well. Maybe they're starting up the franchise again because it's been how many years since the last one? We need to create a scale of how long between movies before it's considered a reboot. Even if it is technically a sequel, it's rebooting the franchise because they haven't had a movie in 20 years.
Okay.
All right. RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop.
That was a reboot. I mean, granted, it was made as a reboot, but it had been 30 years, 20 years or whatever since the last one.
That's true.
There's got to be some kind of like
cut off.
It's like our how long has it been out before you can spoil it type of a thing. So.
Yeah, they won't be on the same list.
Yeah.
20 years before you can spoil a movie, guys.
Yeah.
20 years.
So we've got some sad news, or fairly sad, but also really cool news.
Yeah, this is...
Go ahead and find out his name for me. So there was revealed this week a comic book fan and his name was Aaron Permort.
Mm-hmm.
He lost his battle with cancer.
Yep.
And he died, age 35. However, he had sat down with his wife and wrote his obituary before he died. And I'm going to read it here real quick, or as quick as possible, on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And super cool, super awesome comic fan.
This is how I want. I want my obituary.
Wish I would have met this guy.
Yeah.
Before.
Did you see the picture? Right over there at the top, him and his wife posing with Buzz Lightyear at Disneyland.
I mean, it seems like, and just from like all the reports of people coming out and supporting him and telling how awesome this was.
Yeah.
So his obituary goes.
You can probably just read the
I'll
the first paragraph.
Aaron Joseph Permort, age 35, died peacefully at home on November 25th after complications from a radioactive spider bite that led to years of crime fighting and a years-long battle with a nefarious criminal called cancer, who has plagued our society for far too long.
The worst villain ever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, a terrible costume, too.
Yep.
It's all spiky and it's weird.
Yep. Anyways, civilians will recognize him best as Spider-Man and thank him for his years of service protecting our city. So he reveals he's Spider-Man. His family knew him only as a kind and mild-mannered art director, a designer of websites and T-shirts and concert posters who always had the right cardigan and the right thing to say, even if it was wildly inappropriate.
A man after our own heart.
Another reason why I would love to just hang out with this guy. Aaron was known for his long, entertaining stories, which he loved to repeat often. In high school, he was in the band The Asparagus Children, awesome name,
Okay, yeah.
which reached critical acclaim in the northern suburbs. As an adult, he graduated from the College of Visual Arts, which also died an untimely death recently.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they went under. And worked in several agencies around Minneapolis, settling as an interactive associate creative director at Colley and McAvoy. Aaron was a comic book aficionado, a pop culture encyclopedia, and always the most fun person at any party. Sounds like right up our alley.
Yep.
Good friends that we always hang out just like this.
Absolutely.
He's survived by his parents, Bill and Kim Kuhlmeyer?
Yeah.
Father, Mark Permort. Sisters Erica and Nicole. First wife Gwen Stefani. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. First wife Gwen Stefani. Current wife Nora. And their son Ralph, who will grow up to avenge his father's untimely death. Aaron, the comic world has lost a fantastic person.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
It blew up. It's been all over my Facebook page for days, and that's awesome.
Yeah, you rock, buddy.
I mean, brilliant, funny, makes everyone know just the kind of person you are, and makes every one of us want to strive to have that kind of a cool obituary when we leave.
Yeah, and just strive to be a greater geek too, I would say. Yeah, and to his family out there, I don't know if you guys are listening, like they may see this in a tag or something like that.
We're sorry for your loss.
Yeah, terribly sorry. It's not fun to have to deal with that, and we give our deepest condolences, but you guys had one of the most amazing people on the planet.
I think they already knew.
Yeah.
I really did. Just reading that and being able to write that with his wife before he left. That's cool. That's so cool. And his son's going to grow up with probably an awesome comic collection and great videos and memories of his dad. Awesome. So that was our sad news for the day.
In the future, when you're making the podcast news, don't put that right in the middle, because now we have to build back up to that.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yay!
We love them.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 2 is not in production yet. Well, they're in pre-production or whatever. They've been announced. But James Gunn has come out and said that there will be no Nova in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Wait, we've already seen Nova Corps. But James clarified there will be no Earth-based Novas.
No Earth-based Novas.
Yeah, no Richard Rider.
Darn it.
I think that's the most popular one.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's one or two more.
Yeah.
So,
do you even remember the new Nova's new name? Like the kid?
No, but his last name's Rider.
Sam? It's not Rider. He's not Richard Rider's son.
That's right.
Yeah, he's
Sam
a black
W,
Nova.
I think.
Yeah.
Something.
Witwicky.
Nope.
It's weird when we get in sync like that. Jeez.
So that's unfortunate. No Nova. One of my favorite space-based comic characters. And he and Star-Lord have teamed up in a couple issues and stuff that I've read, and they have great banter back and forth, and they're wonderful. They're awesome. So that sucks.
Maybe we'll see some alien Nova still, though.
I would actually love to see Novas in a costume with actual powers, not just flying ships around and being a police force. So I want to see them actually have their powers like they do in the comics. The helmet gives them, a flight and a force field that protect them. They can shoot energy blasts, that kind of stuff,
which is awesome.
Maybe they do that after this. That's what sets them on the path of, we need better than just ships.
We need something a little bit more to help defend us.
Yeah.
Because they do have an Infinity Stone now, which is...
They do. Maybe it could power some stuff.
Yeah, which they need to make sure that they have good security, because the last security on that Infinity Stone was crap.
Yep. It was just sitting there doing nothing.
Yep. I'm excited for this, Scott. And we're going to get into this a little bit further than... we have here, but Guillermo del Toro, the other del Toro brother,
the brother of Benicio del Toro,
yes, according to us, yes, has been talking about a Frankenstein reboot, Dr. Frankenstein and Frankenstein monsters.
I mean, this sounds awesome, but how many Frankenstein movies have we had?
Yeah. And Guillermo del Toro does good work on his own. Like he does great work with this kind of horror genre.
Oh my gosh,
genre.
Hellboy 2, Pan's Labyrinth,
Hellboy 3. Wait, no, never mind.
Hopefully,
well, they're pushing for it. But
what else has he done? He's done some others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's done a really good job.
Horror related. He did Don't Be Afraid of the Dark or something like that, which was actually a really good. But for a dungeon master, inspiring.
I'm talking just in general, movies that he's done just fantastic. Like Hellboy is kind of a Frankenstein-esque.
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster. Hellboy equals Hellboy.
Yeah.
They both want to do good, but they are, they don't fit in this world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he'll do good, but that's not all. Apparently.
That's not all you say?
The Universal Studios. But wait, there's more. Have come out and said that they want to do a whole movie universe for the monsters, complete with crossovers and everything.
That would be cool.
Frankenstein, Mummy, Dracula, which I don't think they're going to go with the Dracula Untold as part of that movie universe.
No.
I think that's...
Is that even Universal Studios?
I don't remember. I think it might be another company. Anyway, but I mean... Creature from the Black Lagoon, hopefully.
They could just
favorite.
Let's just make a Swamp Thing movie.
He doesn't look anything like Swamp Thing.
I know, but he should, because that's what I think of every time I think of him.
Well, yeah, that doesn't mean he should be Swamp Thing.
Doesn't he look like some kind of weird fish thing?
Yeah, he's like a fish guy.
Oh, he's like the murder mermaid in Cabin in the Woods.
Yes, actually, he is.
Okay,
very similar to Murder Mermaid.
Murder Maid.
Murder Maid. Which actually sounds like a really good rock band name.
Murder Maid.
Murder Maid.
And then they just go whoa into the microphone.
We should make a rock band.
I don't want to scream into any. I hate screaming.
Yeah.
I hate screaming music.
I just hate screaming in general.
So they're going to make a universe, a monster universe, which just like Marvel's doing with their superhero universe.
They did this in the past.
Did they?
Yeah, way in the past,
1950s and 60s
or 1930s or 50s, 40s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like all the Bela Lugosi and everything like that. They eventually crossed over into one big everybody fights everybody kind of thing, or everybody fights and then gets along or whatever happens.
I heard about this, and this is I think we discussed this at length before the podcast about how cool it would be to have. They all have their origin movies.
Yep.
Which I think they need to.
And then a Chitauri invasion happens, and they all get together.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And they'll do their crossovers and stuff. However, someone pointed out to me, this was online when I was looking this up. Someone pointed out that the best way to do this would bring back Van Helsing, redo it so it's not the one that
the Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, not the Hugh Jackman one. And have him go fight them all.
Yeah.
And have that be the crossovers where he's end up.
That's exactly what Van Helsing is.
I know.
It's just a crossover.
But make it good.
I love Van Helsing. That's one of my guilty pleasures.
I enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Just like Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters, they're kind of exactly the same thing.
Such a fun movie.
I think they're so fun. But yeah, and that's cool. They're doing a movie. So we got Wolfman, Dracula.
Casey will be excited for a new Wolfman movie.
Frankenstein's monster, swamp thing,
Creature from the Black Lagoon,
the Mummy. What else?
Invisible Man.
Okay.
Is sometimes considered.
What about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Is he considered Paramount's movie monsters?
He never was.
We ordered we got those poster prints from Comic-Con for, was it for Katie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Wolfman is what she got.
Yeah.
So
Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Frankenstein makes another.
I know she'll be excited when I tell her this news afterwards because she doesn't listen to the podcast. If my wife won't listen, who will?
Our mom.
Yeah, that's true.
She says we're special.
Yes. She says to keep going. We're doing good work.
So that's cool.
Yeah. You know what else is cool, Scott?
What?
That CBS is doing a Supergirl TV show.
I have mixed feelings.
Yeah?
Because Supergirl's been introduced in Smallville in CW, as played by Laura Vandervoot.
Yep.
And
one of your TV crushes.
Yeah, she's one of my TV crushes. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. And I thought she played a good Supergirl as well. And I'm having issues with DC TV. If they're not on the CW, they can't cross over, and that's bugging me.
They said that there was some potential for crossover, though, with the Flash universe.
I did hear that. However, I hate when it's two separate companies because they
have to work together.
There's all kinds of weird stuff. Whereas if it's all produced by the CW, they can just do whatever the heck they want.
Yep.
Which, they can have 4 or 5 episodes a season where they cross over to each other or characters from one to the other, which, Arrow and Flash have already done. But Supergirl, hopefully it's good.
Yeah, hopefully. The actress that they're getting to try, or that they're looking at to try and play her, though, is Claire Holt from the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
And I'll show you a picture here. Hopefully they have it right here in the article, because I think... But there she is.
Okay.
So
we've got a CW actress, so she's going to be pretty for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everyone on CW is pretty.
There is no such thing as ugly people when it comes to the CW.
This is true. This is very true.
So,
developed by Greg Berlanti, he's helped create Arrow and The Flash, which are both awesome shows, and Ali Alder, which created Chuck and No Ordinary Family. I enjoyed Chuck a lot.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen No Ordinary Family. Never heard of that. So
that's the one where they get superpowers. It's got the guy who played Michael Chiklis, who played The Thing.
Okay.
It's got him in it, and he does have super strength in that one too. But they get superpowers from something, and they have to be a family. And
why are we not watching this?
Because it's canceled.
Why haven't we picked it up and watched it?
I watched a couple episodes. It seems fine. Yeah, we'll have to look it up. So write that down. That'll be on our list of things to watch.
All right. Scribble. So yeah, Supergirl made by CBS.
That seems like an okay person to play the role. I know
so
you're all
Gotham
Vandervoot all the time, but she seems okay.
Yeah, no, she looks the part. Gotham. That's why I have such a big problem with Gotham. Is I have a hard time getting behind it because I can't cross over.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, well, they can, but they won't.
Yeah,
because it's Fox.
Exactly.
Fox grabs onto stuff and they will never let it go. Which I hope that DC is only loaning it to them.
I hope so too.
On the stipulation of when we want it back, it's ours.
Because if they were smart, they would do that.
Yeah, not
because
just
they would look at Fox and what they've been doing with Marvel, and they'd be like, we're not just giving you rights to things anymore. So
Supergirl, part of the Super Family, and I love Super Family. So she's a cool character in the comics. I like her New 52 origin better than I like her previous origin.
Yeah.
It's sort of the same, but I like the way they handled it.
Yeah.
She comes to Earth and she's kind of pissed off that she's landed. She's like, "Where the heck am I?"
Exactly. She's got to try and deal with being a strong female character, both literally and mentally.
Yeah.
So a little bit more sad news, not as sad as our last sad news.
Yeah. No, this is just more like, oh.
Yeah. Peter Jackson has confirmed that once the Hobbit movies are done, He is not directing any more Hobbit movies, which they're done. So he's not directing any more Tolkien
films.
movies, which sad.
What's the Silmarillion is the only other one that Tolkien's done that we know of.
Yeah, and there's a lot of backstory in there about where Sauron comes from, and it's got a lot.
Oh wait,
of
so it's in the same
cool stuff. It's in
universe.
the same, yeah, Silmarillion's in the same universe. It's in the old world, basically, where the elves go at the end of Lord of the Rings, like the boat that they take where they're leaving, and Gandalf's going with them.
The other continent.
The other continent, basically. Yeah. Upper Middle Earth.
Upper Middle.
Upper Middle. And then we also, the last little bit of news that we have here today is that the TMNT 2 movie, it has decided not to go with their last director, which is good.
Good, because it was terrible.
Yeah, it was awful.
And
like, the more I think about it.
Weird lips. Yeah. Like, oh, it's just... I mean, and that's the only thing that pops in my head right now, but I can't remember...
acting.
Focus
on humans.
Yeah.
Too much focus on humans for me.
I can't remember much about the movie.
Yeah.
I remember that there was a Shredder suit, which was okay.
Mm-hmm. Tony Shalhoub was Splinter.
Yeah, and when the Turtles got together, they had a good dynamic between them, but there was always April O'Neil around, which is Megan Fox is a mouth breather.
Yeah.
And she's dirty all the time. She
looks
needs a bath.
filthy. Yeah.
Yeah, she needs a bath.
But they're getting the Earth to Echo director to kind of come in, which we didn't see that movie.
It didn't look great.
A kid's movie, so.
But it had something that you hate, child actors.
Yeah, I don't like child actors at all. That makes me sound like a bad person, but really, look at child actors. The trailer?
Yeah.
No, we're getting to that here coming up.
Because I was gonna say that's got a child actor in it.
Wait, no, we did review Pan last episode.
Yeah, last episode we reviewed trailer Pan.
Yeah, and you want to know what my worst part of that trailer was?
Child actor?
Was the kid who, when he said another.
Yeah. Instead of another.
Child actors. And I know that there's no way to avoid it if you want to have children in your movie.
Yeah, you can. You can CG him. Look at what happened to...
CG him and then just give him John Travolta's voice. It's okay. Hey, I'm a child over here.
Oh, no, gosh.
That'd be better for me. I'm
part
sorry.
Part of that trailer, we watched it again, and there's a part where Blackbeard, which is played by Hugh Jackman, leans in and says, "Are you here to kill me, Peter?" And he looks like he's about to cry. Because he's, I don't know, maybe he wants to die or something. Because you don't die in Neverland, you live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's lived a long time. And Peter's response is, "I don't believe in fairy tales." And I'm like, that's not an answer. An answer to, "Are you here to kill me?" is either yes, no, or what the heck are you talking about?
It's like the kid in Interstellar who coughs and then says, "It's the dust," right away, and then walks off screen.
Yes. It's the dust. And then he walks away. Like,
Not to anybody in particular.
No one even asked him, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Sorry, it's just the dust." He just goes, "It's the dust." There's no pause or anything.
Are you understanding why I hate child actors?
No, I completely understand. I mean, remember, now this is pod racing, it's working, it's working.
Absolutely awful.
Yep.
There's only one thing worse.
The Sixth Sense kid.
Than that. Oh yeah.
Haley Joel Osment.
Is that who he is?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
That's weird.
He's a lot older now, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
The Sixth Sense came out in what? Early
90s?
2000s, late 90s?
Oh no, yeah, it was early 90s, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, so there you go. Earth to Echo director. Totally off topic there. That's fine. That's kind of just a little bit at the tail end.
TMNT, I would say you can only go up from here, but we know as far as Transformers is concerned, that is not true.
Yeah, you can
go down. Mm-hmm. And apparently make a lot of money with it.
All right, before we get any angrier, let's move on and get into our reviews.
Okay.
The key to victory is discipline, and that means a well-made bed. You will practice until you can make your bed in your sleep.
You mean while I'm sleeping in it?
You won't have time for sleeping, soldier. Not with all the bed making you'll be doing.
I love Zach Brannigan so much.
I do too. I don't think there's a thing that can come out of his mouth, or at least that voice actor's mouth, that I would not laugh at.
And if you haven't noticed, it's kind of Zach Brannigan Day, everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for no particular reason.
Well, There is a reason.
Inform the men. It's Sap Brannigan Day.
I'll write that down as a potential for the next clip.
Inform the men.
No, we didn't see a movie this week. There's no.
It's kind of slow.
Yeah, there's nothing coming out really.
Mockingjay was what, last week? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and they won top box office again this week.
Yeah,
because there's nothing
really out.
Yeah, and
next week is the only thing that would be sort of up a Geek's alley as Exodus Gods and Kings,
which
is kind of fantasy.
I'm not even interested in that.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't really have any desire to see it.
That's mostly because of Christian Bale. I don't like him as an actor at all.
The Ramses guy bugs me. The guy that plays Ramses. He plays the Pharaoh. The pseudo brother to Moses, Christian Bale's character.
Yeah, but I know who Ramsey is.
No, I just don't. Not saying the actor bugs me. That character, just like watching the trailer, I'm like,
you bug me.
Yeah, he doesn't really bug me.
So what we're going to do instead is we're going to review pretty much a movie, a 2-hour event.
2-hour event.
The Arrow Flash crossover. This is the first ever crossover for TV shows in the history of superhero TV shows, I think. Well, I mean, animated's done it. I know that Spider-Man had the X-Men on there a little bit.
That doesn't count, though. Live action.
Yeah. So in this new dynamic that we've got going on, we finally have Flash, who started on Arrow. So it only makes sense that they would cross over. And we start episode part one of Flash and Arrow. It's called Flash versus Arrow. And it's the Flash show with Arrow coming into Central City?
Yes, Central City.
Oh, thank you. I kind of forgot the name.
You're right, Central City.
Yeah. To fight a metahuman called Prism. Or the Rainbow Raider, if you prefer.
If you're more of the comic book aficionado, Rainbow Raider will sound familiar.
Yep.
It sounds like a stupid name, and yes, it is a stupid name.
Yes.
However, his powers are he can steal light. He can steal color and stuff. So he can, which is kind of a dumb power. Oh no, he made the whole world black and white.
Light bright will be able to fight her,
Yeah. So this one is actually, his power is his eyes, well, at least this is how they show it.
They're tinted red.
His eyes are tinted red, and he can, because of the light that they emit, they cause people to go into kind of a rage.
Yeah.
And just kind of go
and
crazy.
He does, and it's not just him looking at people, it's other people looking at other people. If you remember
because
in the bank scene.
Once they start raging, they all start getting the same red eyes.
And he that's the first scene is he gives an entire bank red eye.
Yeah.
It's like pink eye.
Gives them all pink eye.
Gives them all pink eye, and then robs the bank while they're attacking one another.
Yeah, and the Flash comes in and is kind of bumbles around a little bit, and he's been kind of bumbling around for the last 6 episodes.
Yeah,
and not bad.
No,
because he's new to his powers. He's new to the whole superhero
thing. Walk, basically learning to run.
Learning to run. Learning
and then,
to run faster than the speed of light.
Yep. And so and then the Arrow is in there because they wanted to
use Star Labs equipment to try to determine
where this boomerang came from at the end of the last Arrow episode.
It's not just like a wooden boomerang. No. It's like this sharp metal
alloy
it's cool looking.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I was kind of surprised when they're like, yeah, check this out, because I've seen regular boomerangs and they're kind of goofy looking, and these ones are pretty awesome. They're all sharpened on really the edge. Cool.
And then the second episode is called okay. I want to give the synopsis of the episode, then we can talk about what we liked. And then the second episode is called The Brave and the Bold, which is a great
if you're
like comics. Yeah, that's like your first Easter egg. And the Flash shows up in Starling City, or Star City, if you want to start calling it that, because that is going to be its name.
Yep.
And helps with the Captain Boomerang situation.
Yeah, and they call the Arrow Cave finally.
And we don't call it that, and then everybody else calls it.
Much to Oliver's chagrin.
Yep. And that's okay. So going right off the bat, that is what I loved about this, is we got to bring the Flash humor into the Arrow universe, because Arrow has always had a little bit of humor to it. Roy had a little bit, Thea had a little bit. What's her name? Felicity. It was usually the comic relief.
She's the comic relief, and even then, she's not
She's still pretty serious.
Yeah.
But everybody
Ray Palmer has been funnier than all of them put together.
Yeah, exactly. But everybody on the Flash has their own little quirks and everything. Cisco takes the show.
Oh my gosh. I think out of all the characters on both those shows, he is my favorite character. Cisco, what's his last name? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But basically, he eventually becomes Vibe,
his own superhero.
the superhero, where he can create vibrations and things, and he can also sense like extra dimensions.
Can't he do like sonic shockwaves?
I think
too?
so. Yeah.
Yeah. But Caitlin's funny in her own right. Dr. Wells is actually funny too, like in his own snarky way. Like he's kind of this, I'm better than you and I know it, but I'm gonna make a joke anyway.
And he's super arrogant, but it's kind of funny the way he does it.
And of course Barry's just hilarious. He's kind of he's so happy to be able to have these powers.
In the Flash version, episode part 1, Flash vs. Arrow comes in and they want to use Star Labs stuff.
Yep.
And they agree to it, of course.
And they agree to a team up.
But not at first. At first, Oliver's totally against it. He's like, "No, we're just here to look at this," which kind of paints him in the light of he's a dick. I mean, I hate to say he's a jerk.
That is,
and that he is in Arrow as well. And that's Oliver Queen. Oliver Queen apparently is not a bad guy, but the Arrow is a bad guy.
Yeah,
you know, like
he's
not
just kind of like he's
not a
serious.
villain.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to involve people that he doesn't have to.
So what happens is the Flash is. Oliver actually agrees to train the Flash, not team up with him, but kind of train him and be like, "Look, I'll give you some pointers so that you're not just bumbling around and
actually case the area around, which he can do in like a millisecond."
Yeah, he can go and case the whole warehouse because there's one point where the Arrow jumps into a warehouse.
I think that's in the second episode, actually.
No, in the first one he does it too.
No,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Never mind. We'll talk about it in the second. But in the second episode, there's a. Well, I'll just talk about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I've already started it. In the second part, there's a part where Arrow goes into a warehouse with 8 people in it, and when he breaks open the door, they're all tied up and incapacitated, and Flash is standing there.
He's like, "What? I had 8 extra seconds."
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of shows you how fast he is.
Yeah.
But so he goes in and trains him and
shoots him in the back.
Shoots him in the back with crossbows, which I thought was like, holy
super
crap.
hilarious.
And he's like, you not just like crossbows with blunt tips, like real crossbows.
Shot him in the back.
Yeah, and he's like, I heard you heal fast, and then he walks away or whatever. Yeah. So they kind of have this dynamic where he's the goofball, Flash is the goofball, Arrow's super serious, like almost way too serious.
Which is how they kind of are in the comics too. Like Flash has always been kind of this, I'm faster than everybody else, so I can be a little bit of a funny guy and be cocky. Yeah.
And so he goes off and tries to fight
Rainbow Raider on his own,
or Prism on his own, and he ends up getting hit with the rage eyes,
and it doesn't affect him right away.
No,
like he bottles it up, and it eventually comes out in like an oh my gosh, I can't believe he just did that fashion.
Yeah,
and the Arrow has to go take him down.
Yes,
and that's why it's called Flash versus Arrow, because you get the superhero fight scene.
It's awesome. You get to see a superhero fight scene, and Flash does, and I had a total geek palpitation moment here when Flash runs around the Arrow, and punches him super fast,
and just
hundreds of times.
And he's just like standing there.
And the Arrow is just like, oh my gosh. And then when Flash runs away, he collapses. Because Flash has done that in the comics and in the in the cartoons many times. He runs up, and he may not be the strongest character, but when you punch someone 1,000 times in a second all over their body, they're gonna hurt.
It is going to hurt
bad. I don't care who you are.
There was one point where he shot a tranquilizer at the Flash.
Yeah,
a horse like 1,000 milligrams of a horse tranquilizer, which
he says that you'll be out in about 3 seconds, and then we'll see you in 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah,
and also the Flash stands up and just starts vibrating super fast
and burns through the entire tranquilizer.
And burns it off. Yes,
which it seems so that seems really one-sided for the Flash, but the Arrow really does get some good hits in, and it ends up where he's got Barry in a lock and a hold. And they're able to get rid of the anger thing.
They use a gadget that does like the opposite of the red flashing light.
Yeah, it calms him down.
Him down.
And that's really cool. So, and then of course the best part about the episode is how they don't show them catching the metahuman. just when they come back from commercial break, he is in their special prison.
Yep, he's in the prison chamber.
Which is great. And there's cool moments in there. Diggle's reaction when he first meets the Flash is super awesome.
Yeah, like mouth open the whole time, like, holy crap.
Felicity takes her shirt off. If you remember, because the Flash is like, here, I'll take you to Star Labs, and he takes her there super fast. Well, it ignites her shirt because of the friction, and she like takes it off right when people are walking in. It's a Three's Company kind of moment, but it's super funny. Yeah.
I love the dynamic between Barry and Felicity because they even mention that. They're like, hey, you two like really get along, and they both look at each other and like, we already went down that road. It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
Or they say we went down that road twice, and it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, which is
kind
sad.
of a bummer.
Yeah,
but
I like Felicity a lot more than Iris. That's for sure.
Yeah, but when Flarrow, Flash Arrow, when the Flash,
I like Flarrow.
When the Flash is kind of in his pissed off mode, and he's basically snapping at everyone. He snaps at the police chief. He snaps at
his dad,
his pseudo dad. He snaps at Iris West. Well, he doesn't actually. I don't think he actually talks to her. He rips Eddie Thawne out of a car
and starts
beating him up
as
the Flash. And
and
Iris sees it, and she's like, "Holy crap!" And then the end of the episode, of course, she's like, "I don't want to see you for a while. I can't be with you.
You're a monster."
It's good. It was a good episode. It was fun. Obviously, Cisco has the best lines in all of it. He gets to name all the characters. Every time something happens, like when they talk about he's going to do this, and Cisco's just like, "That's awesome."
He is basically.
I mean, it's terrible, but it's so cool. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
You know?
And then, of course, they throw them into the Arrow crossover because you have to have Cisco in both sides.
Which comes full circle, like a boomerang, comes right back to it. They bring the boomerang to Star Labs, and they're going to bring results back.
They want to see the Arrow Cave.
And they want to see the Arrow Cave, and so they actually end up in Star City, both Caitlin and Cisco.
And then Captain Boomerang attacks Argus.
Yes.
And Arrow and Arsenal go and try and stop him. But they realize that they're not going to be there in time to save him, so they call the Flash in. And the Flash saves Arrow's life.
Yeah.
Which is a super cool scene. And we don't want to try and spoil like every individual scene and everything like that, because you guys should watch it. It's a really good 2-part episode.
And we're sorry, Adam.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
You have been, but you need to catch up.
Yes.
You're behind.
Absolutely.
If you need the current episodes, I've got them. Come over to my house. We'll watch them.
You know what? Actually, that's not too spoilery of anything in Arrow.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, we didn't really talk anything about Arrow that is spoilerish.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it's a crossover episode, so it's sort of like contained.
Yeah, it's contained within.
My favorite part, though, and I think you might be the same, at the end.
The end of the second episode.
Well, I mean, of course, Cisco through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I can't like whoever that actor is. Fantastic.
Yeah, he does great work.
He's a geek. He's a true-blooded geek. You know,
I'm pretty sure he just wears his own shirts to the set.
I think so too, because they're all geeky shirts.
Yeah, they're all geek shirts.
He's a true-blooded geek, and everything that happens, he just kind of geeks out about it. He loves it. He's the syndrome of I'm totally geeking out about it.
Yeah.
You know, and like something happens and he's like, that's so cool. And everyone else is all serious, like, this is not a game. And he's in the background going like, wow, I can't believe awesome.
It's pretty awesome, though.
He uses boomerangs as weapons. So cool. And everyone else is like, he's trying to kill our friends. And he's like, yeah, but boomerangs. You know, yeah, he's a great character. He's, like you said, he's just like what we would be. Yeah. Just like what would be if we were in that situation.
But your favorite part is at the end.
At the end, they go, it's Barry Allen and Oliver, both in their costumes.
They go to an abandoned warehouse.
And Barry goes, shouldn't we have told
everybody else to want to watch this?
And Oliver says, no, they would have liked it too much.
Yeah, and this is kind of between you and me.
It's kind of between you and me.
And it's basically Arrow wants to see who would win.
Who would win in a fight once and for all when Flash is not all up on, his rage medication, his red rage. He doesn't have a red ring.
Nope, he doesn't have a Red Lantern ring.
And so then Flash goes to the other side, and they're like 3, 2, 1, and Flash takes off running, and Ollie
starts shooting
shoots an
3 arrows or.
Yep,
Yeah.
shoots 3 arrows at him, and all of a sudden it cuts. So we don't know either. And you know what?
So
They'll
good.
never tell us.
Nope.
They'll never tell because they don't want
people to be like.
Although in the episode, in the second part 2, they actually argue, or no, in the first one, they argue.
Yeah.
Diggle and Cisco argue about
Cisco and Caitlin even gets it
that's
on
right.
it too. Yeah.
They argue about who would win in a fight, and then Felicity goes, "We're not talking about this, are we?
like, are we seriously
we're
having
seriously
this conversation?
right now?"
All in all, by and large, very
large.
good episode.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Episodes.
You're right.
I like the Arrow one a little better, actually.
I liked the Flash one a little better.
Really? Mm-hmm. I think I like the Arrow one.
I just like
Maybe
you
because
got,
I like Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, you got a little bit more Cisco in there. Although it was nice to see the Flash people out of their element.
Oh.
Because they are in this world where they're fighting metahumans and bad things do not really happen. Like the Flash saves the day and everything like that. And something happens and they realize that this isn't a game in Starling City. They are in like a dangerous zone, like danger territory.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see them out of their comfort zone and realize that we can still be heroes, even though it's not all fun and games.
So Arrow has a part where Oliver always takes his shirt off, and he ends up doing the exercise where he uses the bar and he jumps up he uses the pull up and jumps up the ladder thing, back and forth.
They even ask Felicity, "What's that for?" And she says, "Mostly just to distract me."
So they always kind of do that, and they did it way more in the first season than they do now.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, obviously he still does it.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is we cut scene back to the Arrow Cave at one point, and all of a sudden, Flash is doing that, but going up and down it super fast, so you can barely even see that he's doing it.
Yeah.
Up and down the ladder, and he jumps off with the bar, and he's like, "I don't see what's so hard about this." And that was perfect.
Yeah,
like
and
superpowers made him, plenty strong enough to do what he needs, and
that is so wonderful. And Diggle's wife's reaction to the Flash too, like when she first sees him. Diggle's
I don't
not
remember that.
wife. Well, she had pretty much like the same kind of dumbfounded. Oh my gosh, really? Is this seriously happening?
Yeah, he can move that fast. Holy crap!
They even make
how many
they even make a Speedy reference if you remember.
Oh, that's right.
It's like, what about Speedy over there?
Speedy, and Oliver goes,
Roy? No, I get it. Okay, 5. I'm sorry, it's all
5 out of 5 geek cards for me.
I mean, not just because it's the first crossover for TV.
It's so fun.
It is
Both
really fun.
Both shows are so fun of shows, and I'm so glad that their ratings are going up. They're constantly getting more seasons. I hope they do a full 8 to 10 season run just like they did with Smallville.
Yeah.
If Smallville can do it, Arrow and Flash can do it.
Yep.
And I hope so.
All right. Good review.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into trailers and videos.
And that's why you'll never make Captain Kiff.
Hello, Zap.
Well.
Zap, we're out of fuel, and Virgon 6 is about to implode. We need your help.
So, crawling back to the big Z like a bird on its belly. Delicious.
Birds don't crawl.
They've been known to.
Look, are you gonna rescue us or not?
Certainly. But first you'll have to get rid of that thing. That's the law, Lila. And Brannigan's law is like Brannigan's love. Hard and fast.
All right.
All right.
This is your bag. You take
Trailers
over
and
here.
videos. So we didn't have... well, I guess we did have quite a few new ones come out.
Yeah.
So I'll do the videos first, and then we'll go and we'll do the more like fan-made stuff at the end.
Okay, like the trailers first, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Terminator Genesis. Spelled incorrectly, by the way. Genisys.
Yeah. Looks interesting.
So, the premise of it is, at least, I'm going to spoil the whole trailer. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because
Go on.
you can go see it.
You're good.
The premise is, it's the future. There's a guy having a big speech. If we don't do this tonight, all of humanity dies with us. Type of thing.
John Carter.
Yeah. Big, huge war. Just like in all the other movies.
Not John Carter. John Connor.
John Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warlord of Earth.
So they talk about the machines sent back Terminator.
Yep.
In number 1, of course, to kill Sarah Connor, and as far as the future people know,
Yeah.
that's still happening, or
Yeah,
it
that's
just sent
still
back.
yeah.
So they get a guy volunteers to go back in time to protect Sarah Connor from the Terminator.
Yep.
Well, so he gets sent back in time, and he's in a department store, and he gets attacked by another T-1000
Yeah.
version,
Which are the creepiest versions.
they're the ones that they're like made out of liquid metal, and they
Yeah.
can make swords out of their arms and all kinds of crazy
He
stuff.
cuts off his own hand and makes a spear out of it.
Yeah,
at
which is
one point,
cool.
which is really cool.
And she bursts through the
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor, which is played by
Daenerys
Daenerys Targaryen.
I can't remember her name. Emily Clark. Or
Yeah, Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
Bursts through the door in a van, cranks the van sideways, shoots the T-1000 and says, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. Cool reference.
It's their line.
So he is like, "What the heck?" And she says, "Now,"
Uh-huh.
So he jumps in the car. They drive away.
Yep.
And then he's like, "Wait, I was here to save you, and your son, future son, told us that you would be like scared and weak." And she's like, "Oh yeah, no, we already took care of the first Terminator. We killed him. No big deal." And so things have changed.
A
Things
lot
are
of
crazy
things are
changed.
happening.
So this
Has been
is
happening.
the movie looks like it's going to be a kind of a reboot / sequel. But because it's time travel, it can be both at the same time.
Yeah. And therein lies my problem with the movie, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm confused about, and I don't know if I'll have all the answers at the end of the movie.
I guess we'll see.
We'll have to see.
So, in the fourth one, where it's all based in the future, you get to see Arnold again, but it's CG, young
CG
Arnold.
yeah.
Whatever. However, old Arnold is in this new one.
Yeah.
Terminator Genesis.
As a Terminator.
As a Terminator
who has been
still.
waiting for, 30 years or
yeah,
whatever?
for a long time,
Yeah.
apparently, for someone to come back. So, and of course, they make him up so he doesn't look as old as he is.
Yeah.
But he has some pretty good one-liners. He says, "I'll be back" at one point. He jumps head first as a Terminator into a spinning helicopter blade to blow up the helicopter, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so it does look good.
Yeah, it looks fun, and hopefully it does really well.
I just hope it's not confusing.
It probably will be,
Oh,
but that's okay.
okay.
I imagine by the end of it, I'll be taken out of it for us. So the next one is called Vice.
Yeah, which
starring Bruce Willis and Thomas Jane,
Punisher.
which is the Punisher, which we love Thomas Jane, and we hope that they make another Punisher movie and they
get
bring him
him,
back.
yep.
And he's
'Cause
even
he's
said he
awesome.
wants to. And some unknown girl. I don't know her name.
Robin or something. I don't know.
No. Anyways, it's called Vice, and basically it's a city or a town or a small resort city where there are no rules, there are no consequences. You can do anything you want.
So you can beat people up.
You can beat people up, murder them, do other untold things to them.
That doesn't seem like anybody would want to go there because you get beaten up.
Yeah, that's true. However, you find out that the people they end up beating up and murdering and stuff are actually robots.
Oh,
Not
okay,
real
well,
people.
that makes it okay.
And every 24 hours, there's a pulse that goes out that wipes the robot's memory.
Yeah.
And starts them over for the day. So it looks like you pay for a 24-hour thing. You can do whatever you want. It's this big resort town or big resort. I'm sure it's all walled off from the rest of the world, so you can't get in. And Bruce Willis is like the head. Looks like he's like the head guy. Thomas Jane is probably head of security.
I think he's actually a cop from the outside.
Like a detective from outside. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And he's just curious about what's going on in there.
And one of the robot girls, someone gives her a drink with probably nanites or something in it, where it causes her to remember all the stuff that's been happening to her.
Yeah.
For the past however many years or whatever.
Which is terrifying.
There's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course it goes into this big long action sequence of her running away from stuff, things getting shot, them going to try to take down Vice because it's apparently
corrupt and
here's the weird thing: they're all robots, and that brings up the point: do they have rights? When will they ever have rights?
That's kind of a huge point for a lot of sci-fi, especially if you're talking about robots that act and feel just like humans. Like this girl, as she's getting her flashback, she is genuinely terrified of what's been happening.
It looks at first I thought it was just going to be a action until I saw the robot stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is
it's
sci-fi." So cool. It looks pretty good. Go see it. And there's a lot of robot movies coming out. You've got the one with Antonio Banderas, which is
Automata, Ex Machina, or just Machina or whatever it's called.
I think it's Ex Machina.
Okay.
And then you've got Chappie coming out, and yeah, cool stuff.
There's a lot.
Cool stuff coming out. Yeah, and I think that's the only big ones that came out. There were some Star Wars related stuff. Oh, there's a new animated movie coming out.
Yes,
I'm so excited for this.
I love DC animated movies, and this one is right up your alley because it's Aquaman.
It's Aquaman.
I think we talked about it a little bit before, but I think they just released a new trailer that has new stuff in it.
The trailer's called Brother versus Brother.
Throne of Atlantis is the name of the film.
Throne of Atlantis, Brother versus Brother is the trailer, and it's basically Orm, which is
Ocean Master,
which is that's his character
Aquaman's
name.
half-brother.
Aquaman's half brother. He's a full-blooded Atlantean. Aquaman is only half.
Yep.
He's half Atlantean, half human. And then it kind of ties into the whole New 52 comics.
The Throne of Atlantis War or something like that.
Yeah, Throne of Atlantis is actually what the series is called.
It is? Okay.
And that's I think that's why I titled this. But it talks about Atlantis attacks the surface world with the giant tsunami. The Justice League has to get involved.
I think they take out part of Metropolis or something, don't they?
No, it was...
Or is it Chicago or New York or...
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was some kind of coast. Maybe it was Coast City. I don't know for sure. But you've got
Coast City.
But you've got Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, Cyborg, and the Flash, and even Shazam.
So the
Super Seven for the Justice League, and in order to fight the Atlanteans, they need someone that knows them.
That's half on the surface and half in the water.
So they team up with Aquaman.
Yep. Who doesn't know where he comes from or anything like that? And at the beginning of the movie,
I mean,
he throws a guy into the ocean though, which is super cool.
After the guy tries to stab him, the guy hits him with a knife, and the knife shatters into pieces.
And he's like, "What are you?" And then he tosses him and then says, "I don't know, buddy."
Yeah. And he's drunk. In the previous trailer, he's drunk in Sizzler
and talking to a lobster.
And he's talking to a lobster in a tank, and the guy grabs him out of the tank to kill him, the chef or whatever. He's like, leave him. I'm having a conversation. And it's funny. They're poking fun of Aquaman, but they're also showing that he is badass. He's awesome.
Yep.
So it looks good. Check it out on YouTube. We'll be doing links. So I've got a couple fan films that showed up.
Okay.
And a couple related to some trailers.
Okay.
So let's do the related to. Everyone's complaining about the lightsaber.
I don't know why. You guys, geeks. Hey, super geeks. Knock it off. Knock it off.
Everyone complained about the double-ended lightsaber for Darth Maul.
It's one of the coolest lightsabers.
And look how awesome it was on screen.
It was great.
Fantastic. They did great. So, they'll probably do a good job with this. J.J. Abrams. I mean, he does good work.
He does good work, guys.
Everyone's complaining, that's the stupidest design. What happens when the lightsaber slides down the hilt and slides down the blade, hits the hilt and cuts it off and gets to your hand anyways? Well, Stephen Colbert, if you've ever watched him, hilarious.
Super funny
guy. He talks about this, and we'll put up a YouTube clip, but he talks about, and you just have to watch it. I can't really even explain it. Otherwise, it's not funny how you talk about it.
He basically...
Proves all the nerds wrong.
Yep. He basically explains how that lightsaber works. And
Stephen Colbert
is
actually a super big Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
he's genuinely geeking out about it, and he explained it. It's hilarious. It's really awesome. Another Star Wars one. Last time we talked about a Lucas version of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I looked at that, and that one's not even that well done.
No, it's kind of an everything. It's kind of just a joke after joke after joke.
Yeah. So someone actually took the Star Wars one and edited it. Lucasified it.
With the special edition adding all the effects.
The very first scene of the desert, when Andy Serkis is talking over the background, there are banthas walking in the background.
There's hundreds of birds.
The ships.
Oh, there's ships.
There are hundreds of ships in the background flying back and forth. There's a bantha that walks right in front of the screen, and just dumb stuff that Lucas does that. And it does that throughout the whole thing at the very end where the Millennium Falcon does its loop-de-loop. there's like 100 TIE fighters
all
coming at
attacking
it,
it, yes.
instead of just 2. And it's hilarious, and we'll post a link for that as well.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh,
It's just
that
funny.
one made me laugh a ton.
Yeah.
The way that they did it, I was like, yep. And at the end, it says, Star Wars: The Force Awakens,
Lucas Special Edition.
George Lucas Special Edition coming depressingly soon. So those are pretty funny.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a film making fun of Aunt May, the Aunt May film that was going to come out.
Oh, yeah, there was that rumor that she was going to get her own film and everything.
Right. So someone made an Uncle Ben the movie, 2.5-hour fan film.
Wow.
Impressive, right?
Yeah, very impressive.
Until you realize that it's nothing but
His
Uncle Ben's
gravestone.
gravestone for 2.5 hours.
And the seasons changing in the background. That's just
It starts at the
awesome.
beginning as the Spider-Man story as told from Uncle Ben's perspective, and it's all his gravestone
It's just great.
for 2.5 hours.
Brilliant.
Hilarious.
Brilliant.
I laughed really hard when I saw
And
that.
kudos to you if you can sit through all of it.
Someone posted in the comments, I'm an hour and a half through it. Like, I'm almost there.
Of course, they were playing another video game while they were watching
I'm
it.
sure. Funny stuff. I love fan-made films.
Yeah, I can tell we've got a
Quite
bunch
a few
on
of them,
here.
yeah. So there's a fan-made Constantine or Hellblazer film where he plays a high-stakes poker game with a bunch of demons.
And they're playing for souls, if I'm not mistaken,
They're playing
right?
for souls, and some craziness ensues. And I don't want to spoil it.
It's pretty good
But it
for
goes,
a fan film.
It's pretty good for a fan film. The character is right on Constantine. I mean, he's a jerk. He's a jerk. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how. There's other ways to say it. But
I kind of can't see anybody else as Constantine anymore.
Really?
Like, if this show flops, it's still going to be that guy is Constantine for me because he's like.
but he
the
plays a
perfect
good part.
yeah.
From the TV show is what you're talking about. The one
Yeah.
on NBC.
But this isn't that guy. This is a different guy. It's really funny, or well, not really funny. It's kind of just really.
It's really, if you like Hellblazer,
Yeah.
if you like the Hellblazer comics, you'll really like this because the fan made this film and they portray Constantine really good in it.
Yeah.
There's another fan film. I mean, there's all these fan films, tons of them. For Lobo, it's like a
Lobo.
trailer for a Lobo film, but it says coming soon, and I'm wondering if they mean the fan film is coming soon.
That's what I don't know, but it's funny. I mean, Lobo is our cousin's favorite character
Yeah,
ever.
Lobo is a Sarnian.
This is Narnian.
I can't ever say it. This is Narnia.
Well, it's like the Tsar.
Yeah,
and
the
there's a C.
Zarnian,
Yeah,
I
he's a
think is what it
Zarnian.
is.
So the C.
He's
is
the
silent.
last Zarnian of his planet,
and he can completely regenerate.
He created a science experiment as a child. There was a plague that murdered his whole planet. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's messed up in the head, obviously.
Yep.
And he becomes the last Zarnian. He gets powers to regenerate from even if there's like one cell left.
Yeah.
His whole body will regenerate. And he becomes a bounty hunter.
Like you do.
He's called yeah, just like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls himself the main man.
Main man.
And he's been hired to take out Superman and Wonder Woman, all these different DC characters at one point in time or another.
Yeah.
He's gone toe to toe with every one of them, and
In some
really,
comics, he has killed Superman.
Yep, he's really
Yeah.
funny. And he does some funny stuff.
He's sort of like Deadpool for the DC universe.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Which is funny because Deadpool's sort of like Deathstroke for the Marvel universe.
But Deathstroke's way more serious.
Yeah.
Lobo's like maybe it's DC's response to Deadpool of like if you can do a funny mercenary, we can do.
We can too, and ours is going to be better.
And he's funny, and he rides a space motorcycle.
Yeah.
And he has space pet dolphins.
Yep, he does. Which is one of my
space
favorite
dolphins,
things.
which are awesome.
And he's just kind of your general smoker, drinker.
He looks like a
womanizer.
biker. He's got
Yeah.
gray skin. He's got gray skin, but he's
Red
got
eyes.
he's got red eyes, but he's got like long dreadlocks.
Biker
and
jacket on.
something like that. So there's a little fan film, and we'll link all these, of course.
Yeah, it's pretty
later
fun.
in the week. Pretty fun. And the last one,
Not the last one.
the last fan film,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
the last fan film, which I think
It's not really so much a fan film as it is like a short film with narration.
yeah, it's not really a fan of anything. It's
No.
just a short film
Yeah.
someone made. It's called Wanderers.
This is right up your alley.
Oh yeah, total. I
I
watched it.
It's
and I
not
was
just
like, this is so
sci-fi.
cool.
It's like sci-fi visualized by scientists, which is like your thing.
Yeah, and so what it is a artist in Sweden created this film, and it is they've got a narrator talking, and it's a whole bunch of shots of places in the solar system if humans were to colonize them.
Like
So
Mars has a space elevator.
There's an asteroid that's hollowed out.
and there's
It's full of stuff.
yeah,
They're doing sky jumping off of
Titan. Was it? No, Europa.
It's a moon around Neptune. I can't remember which one it was for sure. But they're hiking across Europa. They're flying a ship through the ice geysers of Enceladus.
They're using flapping like your own wings.
They're on Titan. They're on Titan, and you could do this in real
Yeah.
life because the atmosphere is so thick and the gravity is so low.
Yeah.
All you had to do is strap on a pair of wings, and you can fly under your own power.
if you flap hard enough.
Yep. And it wouldn't even take that much to get you off the ground.
Yeah.
And so they show that. They show like a floating ship in the upper clouds, upper atmosphere of Saturn, which is a gas giant.
Yeah.
So, super cool shots. And they're not just like screenshots. They're videos and stuff. Stuff's actually happening. People are moving. Ships are flying, that kind of stuff. And you've got a... Man, we're
tired. We should just go take a nap.
and they've got a narrator, which happens to be Carl Sagan.
Which
But
I've never heard his voice.
But wait, Carl Sagan's dead, you say?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. However, they've taken
would
clips.
say that.
They've taken clips of him reading one of his books, The Pale Blue Dot, and he's reading passages from it, and they kind of overlay some. And it's really cool. It's a lot of like one of those heart swelling, like it's got a score behind it, and you're like, yeah, go humans, we
Go
can do all this cool
humanity.
stuff. So
It's
really
inspiring.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple that I wanted to bring to your attention, Scott. And we watched. I brought these up to you and watched them with you. The first one is Sony had their little press conference thing where they announced some games and stuff for PlayStation, and they revealed their Street Fighter V announcement trailer.
Yeah.
Which I was expecting
Gameplay footage,
Yeah.
an actual CG trailer of
Yeah.
something, kind of like Overwatch.
Yeah, kind of like
stylish.
Overwatch, which Overwatch has kind of set my bar a little high now because that is such a fantastic announcement trailer.
Yeah.
That it beats out anything.
But it was nothing like that.
Nope, it was this is who we are, this is what we do, and it's pictures of people designing game and playing it in the arcade, like the old versions and everything.
It wasn't even like cosplayers. Like some African child that's starving to death, running through the streets with boxing gloves on and pumping his fist in the air. And I'm like, okay.
So this is Street Fighter, or this is the trailer that's supposed to tug at your nostalgia, tug at your little heartstrings. Say, remember when you liked this arcade game? We're bringing it back. We're not showing you anything, but we're bringing it back.
Well, guess
And
what?
I don't like these.
care.
Yeah, I don't care much about it either. You are really tired.
Yeah.
You know what? Go upstairs. I'll finish the podcast on my own.
Okay.
All right, I can do this. And then they also came out with a Dragon Ball Z trailer for the next movie coming out. What are you still doing here?
Right, magic.
Magic.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about trailers that do this for games, at least, where they take something like Street Fighter,
Yeah.
not a really inspirational thing. It's a fighting video game. They encourage you to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not inspirational at all. Yet they put it to inspirational music, or try to. They put it behind scenes of like people building a house together.
yeah.
I'm like, stop. Just stop doing this. Nothing about your trailer made me want to play Street Fighter at all. Not even a little tiny bit.
Nope.
I like Street Fighter.
Yeah,
I used to
I
play
do
it
too.
at the movie theater in the little arcade. I used to play it all the time, and it was a blast. But you know what? Nothing about this trailer made me want to even look up gameplay of it. I had no idea. No cares in the world.
Yep.
I gave zero cares.
0 cares, which is more than I can expect from you. Wait. Yeah, and you know what? Sorry. Tired. Moving on. Dragon Ball Z. New movie coming out.
So yeah, stop the inspirational trailers for video games.
Yeah, you're not inspiring. You're a video game.
Yep.
So
unless it's like a bunch of shots of boxers and kickboxers fighting each other, and
and then turning to the camera and saying, "I'm a street fighter."
Yeah, I'd be. That would be funny.
Yeah, that is exactly the kind of trailer that these things are trying to be, though.
Yeah,
it's trying to be like a bank. It's like a bank trailer for like America First or something, where they're showing people doing regular things, and it's like, why? What does this have to do with you being a bank? You know, what does it have to do with you being a video game?
Oh, he's playing basketball at the gym, and he banks with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
How did you put those two and two together?
Yeah, it's like whatever.
All right. Anyways, DBZ.
Yeah. Can I move on now, or do you got anything else to say? Okay.
Nope. I've got lots more to say, but I will stop.
You'll say it off air.
Yes.
The trailer looks interesting. They're bringing back Frieza, which is Dragon Ball Z's first villain.
So it's a new movie.
Yeah. But the problem is it's all in Japanese. They don't have subtitles. We don't know what's going on. They show the big flashy Japanese word. Yeah. They show the big flashy words like that comes up in trailers all the times where it's just like this summer, but it's all in Japanese kanji.
Yeah.
I think what they call it.
Yeah. Or whatever.
And you're just like I have no idea what that is.
And then because Cory and I both watched Dragon Ball Z,
we grew up with the English,
English dub, and when they talk, we're just like, that's not Piccolo.
No, that's not.
And that is definitely not Goku's yell.
Goku does not sound like a prepubescent boy yelling.
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously.
So I don't know if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan and you're okay with watching the subtitled version, which we know some people who are. You're wrong, but you can go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, you're absolutely wrong.
No topic this week. Obviously, we're running way long. Holy crap. So let's quickly go ahead and get into our picks of the week.
So, a plan to assassinate a weird-looking alien with scissors. How very neutral of you.
What?
It was almost the perfect crime. But you forgot one thing. Rock crushes scissors. But paper covers rock. And scissors cuts paper. Kif, we have a conundrum. Search them for paper, and bring me a rock.
Why?
That's right. It's time for the picks of the week.
Yay.
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 I'm going to let you start this time because I started last time.
Okay.
Cherry it up a little bit.
So my pick of the week is another fan film.
Yay!
However, this one's not a so-so. This one is good.
It's great.
And
I remember
I think
correctly.
it was Alfonso Cuarón or something. Cuarón.
Alfonso
I think
Cuarón.
who directed it.
Okay.
But guess who it's starring?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say somebody we talked about earlier on the podcast.
Yep. Thomas Jane.
Ah, great guy.
The original Punisher.
From-
Maybe not the original,
Yeah,
but
like the first
one.
from the first
good one.
movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that movie, but that wasn't Thomas Jane's fault. He was a
No.
great Punisher.
Yeah, everyone liked him as a character, but they didn't like the plot. And
Yeah, the
stuff.
plot or John Travolta. Yeah.
But he gets killed. So how could
true,
you not
true.
like
That's
that?
true. In a spectacular fashion.
So Thomas Jane has come out and said many times, "I want to play Punisher again. Let's make another one, guys." I loved playing that character.
Yep.
I think it's great. It's perfect, right up his alley, because he's
This
kind of
is-
monotone.
Yeah.
Kind of a monotone actor. He doesn't really have a lot of range.
So let me tell you a little bit about Thomas Jane. He's an actor who will spend his own money on makeup effects and things like that to get a part. Like
Yeah.
he will have people do wound effects on him and everything like that
When he goes in for his
when he goes in for auditions and everything, because he when he wants to do something, he's really passionate about it.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
And he's really passionate about Punisher. So he got with this director, and they created a little short films about 10 to 12 minutes
yeah.
long called Punisher Dirty Laundry.
And it's great.
It is after Punisher's done being the Punisher, apparently.
Yeah.
He
Like immediately after the first movie and everything.
yeah,
like
he
that.
goes into the laundromat and he's got bullet holes in his clothes and stuff from
Yeah.
from what he does. And there's a girl outside gets attacked by a little
pimp.
kid.
Oh,
a little
it's
kid,
a kid, yeah.
gets attacked by some gang members. And he walks down to a liquor store, gets a bottle of Jack, and he's not drinking because he rubs the sober for 12 months chip or whatever
earlier
that you
on.
get from AA.
And he's watching this, and he grabs a bottle of Jack, and you're thinking, oh, great, he's going to start drinking again.
No.
Nope.
He goes and uses that same bottle to beat the crap out of the gang members.
Yes. Oh,
And so he basically becomes the Punisher again. And it is so good.
It's
very
check
well
it out.
done.
It's a little graphic.
A
but
little bit, but it's just kind of bloody gore.
Yeah.
If you're okay with like the horror movies nowadays with gore and stuff,
Yeah,
you'll be fine with this. You can just check it out. Punisher Dirty Laundry. It's on YouTube right now. It's awesome.
And we'll link that at the end of the show.
Yes,
or
sure.
in the show notes and everything. So, my pick of the week is an event that I'm a little behind on. So I get a backlog of comics and then I start reading them. Not just because it's nice to be able to read one after another, but because I just kind of don't have the time. I'm watching so many shows.
Just admit it. We're lazy.
Yeah, we are lazy. We're so lazy we can't sit there and read comics.
I know. I do that too. I've got a whole huge box. I've got probably 100 that I've got to read.
Well, Marvel had a little bit ago came out with their Axis event, which is their Avengers X-Men crossover. And this has been building up for a while. I love the the Uncanny Avengers comic that this has spawned from.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of X-Men, a little bit of Avengers trying to be in this like unity squad for mutants and non-mutants. And
which always bugged me about the world. Here you've got a world of superheroes like the Avengers, Thor, Hulk, and everyone loves the Avengers, and they're all, and then all of a sudden the mutants, and everyone's like, ooh, mutants. Like they're the same thing.
No, they're not actually. They're different. Unfortunately, superheroes are people in costumes who are bigger than life and here to save you. Mutants are like you, but not quite like you. It's a race thing. It's like a whole racism thing.
They're totally accepting of aliens and stuff, yet humans that have genetic problems.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, we have people like that today.
Yep.
They don't have superpowers. They usually have to have wheelchairs and stuff to get around. But
Yeah.
you know what? We're accepting of them. I mean, there are obviously people that aren't, but you know what? They're idiots.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand why they can't.
Anyway, the person who's really not accepting of these people, of mutants, these people. What do you mean these people?
What do you mean these people?
Is the Red Skull. And
he's a big Nazi.
Yep. He steals Professor X's brain because Professor X is dead at this point in the comic.
Killed by Scott Summers, by Cyclops.
And he steals his brain and gets his telepathic powers. Well, in the pre-event, Magneto finally decides to end the Red Skull because Magneto has more reason than most to hate the Red Skull because he's not only is he a mutant, but he's Jewish as well.
Yep.
And he was in the Holocaust.
Yep. And he was in a concentration camp.
Yep. And so he kills the Red Skull with not with like his magnetic powers or anything, just grabs a stone and crushes his head, which is super graphic.
Like
and
with his hand?
Yeah, like he lifts it above his head and smashes it down on on a prone Red Skull.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work quite as well as he thought it would because there's this huge burst of psychic energy, and the Red Skull combines with the psychic energy to become the Red Onslaught, which Onslaught in the mutant comics or the X-Men comics is one of the most powerful villains.
It's a combination of Professor X
and
Magneto.
Given life by Reed Richards. Not Reed Richards, his son Franklin Richards in the original version of the Onslaught.
Okay.
So he's got he's got world bending powers. So Red Onslaught has similar world bending powers, and it's really cool. Everything that goes down, they talk a lot about. Like the Red Skull can pretty much mind control everybody and sends the entire world into this rage against each other, so that the Avengers have to.
He's the Rainbow Raider.
He's the Rainbow Raider. Yep. So the Avengers have to try and calm down the world before they can get to Genosha to try and stop him.
All right.
It's really I'm 2 comics into it. It's really fun. You should all read it. It brings in a lot of your favorite X-Men characters, and it brings a lot of your favorite Avengers characters in.
Awesome. I know I've got it on my list of stuff to read as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you should have the first issue or the first 2 issues
right
in your comicsology at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Acts of Geekery podcast. Way long today. Sorry about that. If you're like, oh, why are they over 2 hours? Our boom mic guys are panting over here. We should probably end it quickly.
Those are our dogs.
Yeah.
That
That would be awesome. They just stand there.
You train them.
Yeah. But yeah, if you would like to give us a topic idea, send us your pick of the week. If you'd like to talk about why we're wrong about fantasy or sci-fi,
we would love to discuss that.
You can send us an email to actsofgeekery@gmail.com.
You can also send us a Facebook message or a comment on one of our video links or something in Facebook, facebook.com/actsofgeekery.
You could go to twitter.com, and we are at Acts of Geekery, or hashtag Acts of Geekery. And we should point out something at the end here. We'll just go on.
Okay. We're also now all caught up on YouTube, so you can comment on any one of our videos, and we'll get a notification that you commented.
Subscribe to us there. Acts of Geekery
is the channel name.
Yep. Or you can go to iTunes and leave us a comment or a review, a favorite, a subscription there. Just type in Acts of Geekery. All of those are ACTS, not AXE, and Geekery is spelled with an E. Geekery. Just in case.
People had trouble with that?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just...
So it's not Geekery, it's Geekery.
Geekery. Just making sure we're covering our bases here.
Right.
Well, that's going to do it. I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Brothers Geek.
Keep geeking out.
See ya!